All right, Tina Lorenz, thank you so much for joining us on the I wish somebody would have told me that virtual summit. And when I thought of the roster of who I wanted to have on in full transparency, I kind of fangirl over you. I watch you and I'm like, I have to have Tina on. Will she say yes? So I'm so.
And I did.
You did.
Thank you so much for having me. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm really honored to be here. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I want to share your brilliance with the audience. Tell people what you do, your zone of genius, please.
Well, my zone of genius really began in the area of communication with freelance copywriting, and both written and spoken communication. And that's what I've been doing for almost 20 years. And now I'm branching into an even higher calling with that, which is my Renegade Boomer Movement. And then this is my anti-retirement movement, where I put together bespoke, we call it the Renegade Roadmap, for experienced professionals past 50 who want that next chapter, that second act, so to speak, third act, I guess, really. So I coach and I write and I create and I strategize, and and I hear between the lines. I hear things that people don't actually say. So I would say that's my zone of genius.
I love it. And tell the audience, why do you think your work matters?
Well, first of all, I think copywriting is the absolute most essential marketing skill anybody could learn, whether you're going to write as a freelance copywriter for clients or you have your own programs, your own projects. You need to understand the communication, and it's always more than the obvious. It's more than just writing headlines and bullet points, and understanding how you're going to go those layers deep about what we're really selling here and how we have that communication. It's for everything, whether you're have a volunteer program, whether you're bringing people into the fold with a different belief system, whether you're selling a program or a product, whether you're writing a book. It's the core of everything, and it impacts so many lives. When you have an important message to share, when you have a mission to share that, and the Renegade Boomer side of things is not being marginalized, not being placed in the shadows, or placing yourself there because you're past 50 and thinking, okay, well, it's too late, or I'm all done. So I just feel like I really feel like this can change the world, honestly, when we approach with love and integrity and authenticity in our communication. And so that's why I feel like it's absolutely essential and
And
important.
you're just getting started, right?
Just getting started.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Even though you've been doing this for 20 years in this.
Yeah, I started in 2004 with no experience. And I would like to inject this into this because I've been on my own since I was 17. I don't have a college degree. I never had any special training. I'd never been paid to write anything for anybody ever in my life. And I made a decision when I was past 50. I read an article about copywriting and it just lit me up. I thought, I can do this. And I made a decision, important word there, that I was going to do it. And that is exactly what I did. And so I really want to share this message for those that are also maybe just getting started or changing completely. This whole Renegade Boomer thing doesn't mean you have to keep doing what you were doing for 20 or 30 years. It might be something brand new, right? And so just knowing that you can make that decision and still bloom into what you're really meant to do, what you're really called to do. I call them divine DMs, by the way, that there's like a spiritual connection to this as
Love
well.
it. Beautiful, beautiful. Very, very meaningful work, heart-centered work, and important work at that. All right. So, quick question at a macro level. This is the one. At a macro level, you've been in this game for a while now. Where do you think that entrepreneurs who can't seem to get their business off the ground, where is it that they struggle, again, at a macro level?
I think, well, this is actually it kind of ties into one of my tips because I know you're going to ask me, damn,
Yeah.
I wish I'd done that. And that is really becoming the person, really, really integrating their identity with what they are becoming. And so what I see so often is people learning the stuff. I have a program, I learned the thing, I went to another program and I learned another thing, and they're jumping all over the place, shiny object, I'll try this. And what isn't happening is that deep internal work, that it's an inside job of really becoming the person who can do the thing so that you can experience and enjoy the results that you're seeking to have with your life and in your business. And I think that is a huge issue because I think there's people that spend years signing up for programs and learning stuff,
Yes.
but something is not shifting inside themselves and in their own thinking. And I think that is a huge hindrance and it causes a lot of failure in business, actually.
Right. And it's easy for people to be like, I tried it, and then they'll walk away, and then the level of regret comes in when to that point. So I'm assuming this is tip number one. It's about becoming the person, but
It
become.
is. It's really making that identity shift on the inside and claiming it. You know, when I first started as a copywriter, you know, it's literally saying you're retraining your brain, even like I am a freelance copywriter, not I'm going to be, not I hope to be, not maybe someday I'll be, you know, fill in the blank for whatever that thing is for you, but really claiming that. And, you know, your brain doesn't know, it's not judging. You know, your brain isn't going to say, well, yes, oh no, actually, Tina, that's not correct. You know, it just accepts whatever we feed it. And so we are the master programmers. And so we can create those new neural pathways that become our new way of thinking, our new fallback positions, our new habits of thought, I call them, by really, really reinforcing this over and over again to yourself and just owning that identity and stepping right into it. Both hands, both feet.
Love it. All right. So the damn I wish somebody would have told me that. Tip number two, what is that?
You can't do it alone. I mean, I think a lot of us are sort of kind of introspective, introvert kind of folks, and but then we know we can flip the switch when we're doing our videos, when we're meeting with people, that type of thing. But a lot of us work alone. Those of us that are entrepreneurial may work alone for a very long time, but you really cannot do the things that you need to do alone. So I always recommend you need to be able to seek out mentors. You need to have people that you can trust that you're going to learn from. You need to be a lifelong learner. I'm cramming this all into tip number two, but it's kind of like, you know, find the person who's successfully doing the thing that you desire to do, retain their services, whatever that takes as far as the financial investment, and then do the things that they recommend you do, even when they seem counterintuitive or they challenge you, because if you already knew what to do, you'd already be doing it.
Exactly.
And so it's a lifelong, I mean, I'm a lifelong learner. I invest in myself right from the beginning and still to this day with masterminds and coaches and mentors. So
Excellent.
I recommend it.
Love it. And tip number three of damn, I wish somebody would have told me that.
Just really being aware that the messaging, you know, I'm all about the words, right? And choose them, both what you let into your life and what you say and how you express them very intentionally, because where you put your focus and your attention and your intention is what you really create more of. And so, you know, there's a book actually called "I Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought." And I didn't even know there was a book called that. I used to say that and then found out someone had written a book called that. But you're not going to be able to create high energy, high value results from a low energy place. You can't, it's the whole energy spectrum doesn't work that way. And so this includes who you hang around with, the messages you allow into your own brain about, be mindful of who you share your goals and your aspirations with, because especially for entrepreneurial, there's a whole lot of people that don't get that. And you may get even from your near and dear, you know, folks that are near and dear to you that, well, that's not going to work. Or are you not going to have good benefits? Or are you sure you're going to give up that good job? You know, and so we really need to be very mindful of what we allow into our own heads and also how we express ourselves in all aspects of our marketing and our sharing what we do with the world, and know that the impact of the words is so important. So put your time and attention on things that serve you, not work against you or stop you, you know, and we can choose those things. We have all the power to choose that for ourselves.
I love it. My favorite quote ever is stand guard at the doorway of your mind.
Yes, that's a great one. That's
right?
a great
it's really about that. It's like what you are allowed to filter in. It's everything. It's been a huge for me personally. Okay, so let me recap. Number one is becoming the person. Number two is you can't do it alone. You can't go at it alone. And number three is beware of the messaging and being intentional about it. Those are awesome. And it's so interesting because a lot of this, of everything that you're talking about, is where it's starting from the inside, right? So here we go. You're right. You're that copywriting master. And so we're looking at copy, but it's where it starts from the inside is what has allowed you to flourish at the level in which you play at.
I'm a late bloomer. I'm just going to say this has taken time for me to learn these things for myself. And I was in a horrendous domestic violence scenario before I met my husband. When in my 40s, I ended up homeless and having to run for my life, literally, with my two children. And at the time, I was pretty shell shocked and PTSD, the whole thing. But even then, I knew I had to make a decision about how I was going to process this. Was I going to be a survivor, or was I going to be a thriver? Was this going to define me? Was that going to be my identity as this, you know, domestic violence survivor person, or was it going to be, this has to count for something, and I'm going to make sure it does. I don't understand it now, but I'm making a decision that I will make this work in a way that helps other people, helps my own children, my family. And so it's really making those conscious decisions right from the beginning of how you're going to proceed, even when life throws you some big giant curveballs.
I love it. So Tina Lorenz, how do people find out more about your work, your movement that you have happening? You're going to be seeing Tina on TV, she's going to be everywhere, you guys. So how do people get a hold of you and what it is that you do?
Really, the easiest way is at tinalorenz.com. And so it's just type in tinalorenz.com and you'll find me and all the things Renegade Boomer, and how some of my other programs, all of those things. I'm on social media as the Tina Lorenz on just about any of the social medias, YouTube. I've got lots of free content there as well, and so that's how you can find me. I'm kind of all over the place at this point.
And not stopping anytime soon. So all the links of how to connect with Tina are going to be right below this video. Make sure to connect with you. This is why I fangirl, because I find you so aspirationally motivating. Like, oh my God, I can't wait. Like, you just really open up the awareness of like, we can do so much at any decade of our lives.
Absolutely.
And such a beautiful example of how she was in a situation, and it's the comeback and everything that you've created. So thank you for sharing your brilliance. Such an honor to have you on this summit. Thank you.
So much fun to be here. And I do have one last little thing, because sometimes people feel like I need somebody to like bequeath it and let's make it official. Okay. So anyone who's watching, if you really need that, just lean in and we'll just
lead. Nobody's done that yet. You literally zagged on that one. I'm always telling people, like,
when you work with a magic wand next to you, I mean, it's kind of like magic what can happen to the transformation of your life. So
I love it. I love it. Everyone, you have been bequeathed. Let it be known from one and only Tina Lorenz. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. It's really been fun. Thank you, Patty.